that maybe there's somebody else out there.
You might not like it here. Maybe you should, I don't know, consider all of your options, because we'll do our best.
Hello and welcome to The View from 4 Feet and 3 Inches. I'm your host, Cassidy Huff. I am a white woman. Today I'm wearing a brown tank top. I am in a brown faux leather chair. I have some pillows behind me. I have my baby blue podcasting headphones on. My hair is tied back. I have my black rimmed glasses. And today I have a wonderful virtual guest with me today. My virtual guest is Lindsay. Hi, Lindsay.
Hi, I'm Lindsay. I'm 4 feet 2 now, post-surgery.
Whoa.
I know. And I am so excited to be here. I have strawberry blonde hair with blonde roots showing out because it needs a dye. I've got a white necklace on and a purple tank top. And I'm in my room. I've got my pink walls. And the light behind me is casting a really gross flare onto the lens. And the only nice thing that I'm happy about is the posters behind me.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. So, Lindsay and I go way back.
Way back.
Actually, I think we met, we're the same age, right?
Yeah. I think so, yeah. 01?
I think we met when we were like 16? 17?
Whatever that year. It was Painted Turtle. I know that.
It was Painted Turtle. I think we were like 16 or 17. So it's been a while.
Yeah.
We've known each other for a long time. And so I want to start off with, for those who maybe don't know you, like what you're all about. Who are you? What do you do?
So I posted more often online. I wouldn't really call myself like a content creator now. But I have been for a while using TikTok or Instagram, a little bit of YouTube. It was mostly just like posting my TikToks to YouTube. But I am a 23-year-old film student, and I also have dwarfism, SED, spondyloepiphyseal dysplasia, which is a lot of words. And I kind of got into content creation originally just to like have fun. And eventually it kind of led me into a space of disability advocacy and accessible fashion and advocacy in general for a few different things. But mostly the way that I did it would be through entertainment. So if I could, find an entertaining way to kind of educate people about dwarfism in general and fashion, then I would do that. And I also talk about movies all the time, constantly, all the time, a lot. I can't shut up about movies. So, yeah, that's kind of what I do, and I want to go into filmmaking full time. But truth be told, it's been expensive, so we're working on it.
It's rough out here.
Yeah.
I totally get it. So, let's talk a little bit about your childhood growing up. SED, is that fairly rare?
I think it's about 1 in 100,000 people with dwarfism, or people who are born have this type of dwarfism. Notable people with it: Warwick Davis, Danny Woodburn. So I don't know if it's like rare or not, because I can point to a few people who like are somewhat recognizable, but also it is more rare than like achondroplasia.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about growing up with dwarfism in general. I think you and I really connect together on this topic. So growing up, did you have people in your personal life with dwarfism? Do any of your family members have dwarfism? Were there any incidents at school because of your dwarfism? Like, were you singled out? Were you bullied at all?
I would say, so I'm the only person with dwarfism in my family. My parents and both of my older brothers are average height. And truth be told, I think it's because maybe I just happened to grow up in an area that people were just very understanding. I never really got bullied at school. I mean, I had the odd comment here or there, but I never was really like singled out. I feel like I had a pretty normal childhood outside of my home. And then my two older brothers, one of them I'm not as close with. And I do think that my experience with him was maybe a little bit worse than I would say other people in terms of how they treated me for my dwarfism. But my parents really, I know that we know a lot of average height parents of, kids with disabilities and dwarfism can either overprotect or underprotect their kids. And I think my parents really, really, really blew it out of the water. They just did everything that they could. They recognized where they didn't know things, and they reached out to LPA like as soon as I was born, because they wanted to find the resources that we needed. And I've always grown up going to the Little People of America conventions and stuff, but I didn't go quite as much as we got older because life just got busy. So I would say like really, really young, I still had some connections and resources. And then obviously I went to Painted Turtle Camp. I think I started going when I was 12, and it's because this girl who is a long time, probably my first friend, who also had dwarfism. We met through our local district through LPA, and she had gone maybe a couple times to Painted Turtle, and she and her parents were like, "You have to go." And I was really obstinate. I didn't want to go. I was so stubborn. And then I went. I had like the best time or whatever, and I made a bunch of friends there. But
And then you didn't want to leave.
and then I didn't want to leave, and then I met Cass. But it was definitely like, I never really felt different than my peers until the surgeries started kicking in. I had my neck fused when I was 3, a spinal fusion. And then I had a hip reconstruction because of my hip dysplasia. They wanted to try to reconstruct them before a replacement, which we knew I would need, which didn't really work, but it put me in a body cast for 8 weeks. So that's really helpful, guys.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
And
God.
right. Thanks a lot, guys. Really great. Got to be in a body cast the one day it snowed in my town. The one day it's ever snowed here.
Cool.
Yeah. But yeah, it was, outside of the surgeries, for most of my childhood, I didn't really feel different until I think got close to like middle school, like 6th grade middle school. And I remember, the other kids started getting in more into sports, and they started, socializing, puberty kicked in, they're all liking each other, and they're, having these experiences. And it was definitely little by little, I feel like I almost was like felt phased out in a way where I could keep up less and less with them. And it's not that they didn't want me around. It's not that they were ever harmful or hurtful to me. I think I really had a very lucky experience with that. But little by little, I wasn't able to do the same things that they were until my hip replacement actually just last year. So I think middle school was tough by no fault of anyone's really. And high school, it kind of started to come back around towards the end of high school because people are starting to kind of get their heads on their shoulders and everyone's going off to college. And and part of that was my own personality. I was a little bit snippety sometimes, I won't lie. But, come college, now I feel we have lice. Never forget. But yeah, I mean, come college. I gotta tell you something later.
Memory. Oh my God.
We have lice.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I mean, I think I had a really blessed experience, and my parents really equipped me to advocate for myself at a very early age. And they also taught me how to seek out resources, and they never made me feel like I couldn't do something, but they also helped me learn where my limits were in a really healthy way.
I know you want to see more of my content. That's why I started a Patreon just for you. If you subscribe to a monetary tier on my Patreon, you automatically get access to hours of unseen footage. Behind the scenes, post shows, weekly life updates, weekly private live streams, and of course, so many never before seen pictures and videos of Champ and Monty. So what are you waiting for? Head over to my Patreon and check out all of the perks that I have for you.
Yeah.
So you talked about your hip replacement from last year. We saw each other right before your surgery.
Yeah.
Last
The
year.
second one.
The second one.
Yeah.
You said that you are now able to do a lot of things that you weren't able to before. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So I always knew I was going to need to get my hips replaced. And the scary thing about that was that as much as I just said, I was pretty involved in LPA at different times in my life. And I never really met other people except for another friend of mine. We both know Chapin, that had also had my condition, really. And on top of that, none of them had yet had any hip replacements, any of the ones that I'd met. So I really went into it blind. The only thing that I knew is that eventually I would need my hips replaced. And it was something that was going to really help me because of my hip dysplasia, but also, I guess it's one of those things where when you don't really know, when the doctors would tell me a lot that it would be life-changing. They would tell me, oh, your arthritis is going to be cured. Oh, it's going to be all these things. And it was really something I didn't want to get my hopes up about, because I realize now in hindsight, having recovered from both, I was in so much pain, so much. And it really slowed me down from everything in my life. And I had to leave jobs because of it. I couldn't go out with my friends. I stopped wanting to go grocery shopping, and I didn't really realize in the moment how bad it was, because I was trying to have a good attitude about it. And, I'm a big believer in, I can find the positives in anything, and it's, we're disabled. We're going to have these days, and I better just shape up with it. But I think I didn't give myself enough credit. And so when we started discussing maybe I do need hip replacements is actually when I used a wheelchair for the first time to go on a trip. And I think for the 2 years before, leading up to the surgery, I was most time to, if not full-time, wheelchair user outside of my home, which was a big transition for me because I used to use one of those Segways. And
Denise.
And I have Arthur now. Haven't used him in a while because I have arthritis.
I have to. That's good. I have to interrupt you. So you told me about Denise at camp. It was the first time we ever met each other. And you were like, did you know her name's Denise? And I was like, Denise, that's such a weird name. Why'd you name her Denise? And you were like, because Denise don't work. And I was like, that is the best thing. And I asked you, I specifically remember, I said, can I start using that for my chair? Because
hell yeah,
we live in different parts of the country. We are not going to see each other ever again after this. And you were like, yeah, of course you can. Sounds good. And then about 2 years later, you came up on my For You page, and we were being tagged in each other's videos every 5 seconds. And I was like, okay, well, we did see each other again.
God forbid two girls have fun together. God forbid two girls have fun.
I was so sad. I was like, we are never going to see each other again. I can use this name. It's great.
We're just twinning. It's fine.
It's fine. Well, Denise is about to retire. She's 10. She's getting up there. Yeah.
Well, she made it longer than mine, Denise.
That's pretty good. How long did your Denise live?
Denise made it 5 years.
Wow.
And then she had the ever-living hell beat out of her because I was a teenager using a Segway, and I let my friends ride it.
That thing.
The new one that I have is even faster. It doesn't have a speed limit.
Okay.
Yeah, it's dangerous. It's dangerous.
Actually. Okay, sorry. I had to interrupt you to tell you about Denise.
We got to take a walk down memory lane sometimes. But I mean, so the Segway was honestly really fun. It was great, and it was something that I stood on to use. But then I transitioned to my wheelchair because I went on a trip to go visit some friends in England. And one, I remember how people started treating me different when I was in a wheelchair. That's a different story, a different day. Weird. But two, it was, I just remember there was a time that we were walking through the streets, and I was in my chair, and I looked up, and I realized I was entertaining the conversation with my friend, and I was focused on the conversation more than I was thinking about how much I wanted to sit down. And I remembered oh, when people are walking around, they're not thinking about their legs all of the time. They're thinking about the things that they're doing.
Can't relate.
Forgot about that. Didn't know that was, you guys are lying for sure.
What do you mean you don't want to sit down every 5 seconds?
I was like, what do you mean you're not thinking about every single muscle moving to make your foot walk? What are you talking about? Yeah. Exactly that. So I remember I came home and I told my parents, I was like, hey guys, I had a really good experience in my wheelchair, and it's kind of making me wonder if maybe I'm in more pain than I thought. And it got us into the process. We ended up having to change insurance because the insurance we were with would not give me the referral, even though I needed to see a specialist, and they wouldn't do my surgery, they said, oh, well, but, you know, we don't feel comfortable doing it because you're so high risk. But you do technically have the care within the system you have, so we're not going to give you a referral to this specialist or any of them. So we had to change insurance.
How does that make any sense?
You know what? I'm as confused as you are. But shout out to the doctor who was in my town who was going to do the replacement, because he told me, and excuse me, I burped. He told me that he was really honestly very candid with me, and he said, I don't think we should do this. And I'm not really confident that I can give you a hip replacement without giving you drop foot or anything else.
Nope.
But I have to take it because no one else here will take it. But I want you to know, I think that you should try to find a different option. And I honestly appreciated it, because even though it sounds like he wasn't confident, he had rules that he had to follow.
Confident.
He had rules he had to follow. He couldn't tell me, get out, go somewhere else. So he kind of phrased it in a way where he was like,
he just suggested that
he
maybe
said,
there's somebody else out there.
You might not like it here. Maybe you should, I don't know, consider all of your options, because
Maybe
we'll do our best.
Go get a second opinion, but also I might disable you even more, just so you're aware.
Correct. And that's literally what he said. But he's like, honestly, I really appreciated what he said, but I felt pretty defeated. And the whole lead up to the process, I didn't know what to look for. And for my whole life, we'd been told that I would need hip replacements, but the conversation never really extended beyond that. So I didn't know what the process would be like for a person with dwarfism compared to an average height. I didn't know what the outcome would look like. I didn't know
and how are you
anything.
Supposed to? Like, who
Nothing.
are you supposed to ask about this? Like, other than the doctors doing the surgery. Like, that was my issue too, is that when I had Halo traction, I was going to be in Halo for 6 weeks of the plan. I was in Halo for 52 days at the end of it, but 6 weeks was originally the plan. And I didn't know anyone who had been inpatient with 8 holes drilled into their head and metal attached to your skull for 6 weeks. I had nobody I knew. In the South, apparently, they do it differently. So when you have a Halo traction, you can go home with it, which is wild to me, actually, because what do you mean you can go home with it? You went home with it?
I had mine for 8 months.
Halo traction?
Halo traction. Wait.
No, you had the Halo vest.
I did, but I had the 8 holes at the very least.
Yeah, you had Halo vest.
Yeah.
Halo vest and Halo traction.
Traction.
Are different.
What is that?
Traction is when it's not connected to from your head to your chest. You're not wearing like a vest type thing. You basically, it's the other way. So instead of going down,
yes,
it's up.
Yeah, I know about that.
Back. So it's attached to your
follow.
head, and they basically need to give your spinal cord room to stretch. And in order to do that, they have to add half of your body weight in weights attached to your head. Yeah, it's crazy. It's literally a medieval torture device. It sounds so wild when I say it. Okay, but the thing is that I was so freaked out when I went in for this thing. That's what I'm talking about. People go home with this. That's wild. What do you mean you're trusting parents with sometimes no medical experience to attach their kid to weight? Also, so when you transfer them, if I was going from a bed to a chair, a bed to a wheelchair, there's a special wheelchair that you have to have. There's a special bed that you have to have because everything needs to be hooked up for the traction to be able to be hooked up to. So I, every time I was transferring, somebody had to hold me in traction. So hold the little bar that goes across the top here and simulate however much weight I was up to. And if they dropped me, my spine would collapse and I would die. That's the fun thing. So
but no pressure.
I was literally putting my life into people's hands. And there were towards after I got over the shock of 8 holes being into my head and metal coming out of me,
just regular Tuesday stuff.
I was like, I should do a whole episode just on this.
Can you please?
Actually, yeah. Now that I'm talking about it, I am being transported. But every time so once I got over the initial shock of it, the weight just keeps growing, right? Because they can't add 25 pounds. I was 50 pounds at the time. So that means they were putting 25 pounds of traction that was being held up by my neck, my head, every time. Yeah, it was crazy.
Baby.
So
You were just a baby.
I was 13.
How old were you?
I was 13.
Oh my God.
I had my 14th birthday in Halo. And so once I got over the initial shock of that and I was transferring, because I would transfer multiple times a day, I would only trust certain people to hold me in traction before they connect with me. Initially, I didn't really understand that, like, if they let go, I was gone. But, like, I would trust my mom and a specific nurse that I had, and then a specific night nurse that I had, and then my PT. Nobody else was touching me. Absolutely not. You could touch the rest of me. Holding me in traction? Absolutely not. So I actually have my surgeon on next week to talk about all of the
That's so cool.
I'm going to ask him all the questions. All of them.
You said, I approve. No HIPAA violations here. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Where do you need
You
to
are
decide?
approved.
Yeah, so Halo, though, is... Hang on, Kaz needs to talk. Wes can edit this out. What?
Well, I have a question.
You have a question. Yes.
Could you tell if you were, like, being dropped?
Yes.
Did it hurt?
No. Did you hear that question?
I did.
Okay. He's asking, for everybody who didn't hear, he's asking if I could feel that I was being dropped. Nobody ever dropped me, which it clearly, because I am still alive.
You are alive.
I'm still here. But nobody ever dropped me. However, they had to simulate as the weight would go up every other day was when they would add another 1.5 pounds of weight. So as the weight would go up, you had to simulate 25 pounds of pressure, of upward pressure. And so I would go, nope, I need more. Nope, I need more. Nope, I need more. So this is where it relates back to you, by the way, because I promise I didn't go off on a tangent.
No, that's interesting.
My mom talks about how difficult it was to basically be doing like it's not even a pull-up. It's like a different muscle that you're using because you have to like hold me like this and just pull up as far as possible.
Did they do this or this?
This. Yeah, like that, because I was shorter. Because I was small. He was asking if they go like this or like this. How did they
Kind of
pull?
like one of those like trap lifts, kind of like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So they would pull up with their wrists facing down. I'm trying to figure out how I can explain to the listeners. But just like with your hip replacement, when I was in Halo, I realized how easy it was to breathe. Because for the first time, all my hardware had been removed from my back, and I was in Halo traction, and for the first time ever, my spine was straight. And so my spine wasn't sitting on my lungs. And so I could, like, actually take a full breath for the first time ever.
Yeah.
And I, like, remember sitting up for the first time, and I was like, oh.
He said, "Oh, well, wait a minute.
I feel great in this." So I didn't want it off. I did not want it to be taken off at a certain point. Because I was like, no, this thing is great. Like, I love this thing. Keep me in it forever. Just like with your hip replacement of you being like, oh, I think I was in more pain than I realized. Same thing. I realized that I was missing out on breathing. And
you know, just like...
regular
stupid like social stuff, you know, just like nothing.
Things.
It's like so dumb.
I realized that I was missing out on breathing, and also I realized how much pain I was in because once Halo was on and my traction was set and I had whatever it was, like 25 pounds of weight hanging off me, I wasn't in as much pain because my spine was off of all of the nerves and all of
the stuff,
all of the stuff. So like it wasn't pressing on my hips anymore. It wasn't pressing on my lungs anymore. I was like,
what a relief.
This is heaven, actually. I don't even care that I'm in the hospital right now. Like, this is great. Back to you. That
sort of like relief, that I really resonate with that sort of relief, because that is exactly how I experienced it, but I think mine was less instantaneous because I was in the chair, but the pain was still very much present because it was at a point before the surgery. I mean, I couldn't sleep properly. I couldn't sit comfortably because it was, my hips, I think I told you about this last time, but for the listeners, when you think of a femur, chat, you guys should go look up a picture of a femur for reference here. Go ahead and look one up. Women's probably more accurate. Okay.
Female femur, please.
Yes, ma'am. So
Yes, ma'am.
look at the top of the femur. You got that big ball, and it goes in the socket. Okay.
Not
so I didn't
mine.
have. Me neither, Diva.
Not here.
Me neither. I didn't have the acetabulum, which is that big ball, and I didn't really have the socket because with my type of dwarfism, as Chapin recently told me, because apparently my doctors didn't, SED is
I love when
essentially
you find out fun things.
right. Shout out Chapin. I love you. It's SED is essentially a type of dwarfism that's caused by a cartilage deficiency. So the reason our joints, when we're in the womb, and our joints go from bone or from cartilage to bone, they call that ossifying. SED people, we struggle with the full ossification process, so our joints don't really ossify as well. We have severe arthritis in all of our joints. And so my hips specifically were the most impacted by that. And the cartilage that had, it formed, but it never became bone to become stable. So the cartilage over 23 years doesn't really hold up when you're walking around and,
every day,
living life.
using things and,
Yeah. So by the time that I got my hips replaced, both of my femurs were pretty much ground down to a pulp. I mean, like the full femur, like that whole ball was like gone. There was no cartilage between. And then the socket was like not fully formed. So it's just kind of like two little flat pieces of bone just kind of sitting on one another. So I had very limited range of motion in my hips and constant, really lovely like grinding and clicking feeling. And then, it was so deep and so constantly present that I didn't realize that I was in pain at all times. And I was like, man, I think I have restless leg syndrome because I can't sleep. I keep moving my legs around. It's like, no, bitch, you're shuffling because you're like in pain. Like, what are you talking
your legs
about?
were trying to escape your body.
Correct. And there would be days like if I, girl, the alcohol, girl, the liquor, if I drank, I didn't feel any arthritis.
To the bottom.
Yeah, here's the truth, guys. No, if I drank, I didn't feel any arthritis, so I'd go out with my friends, and I'd have a few drinks, and I never got, like, too hard, except for maybe a couple times, but normal levels.
Yeah,
but then I would wake up the next day, and I wouldn't be hungover. I would just have a body hangover, because my body would be so arthritically inflamed, I would be straight up bedridden. Like, I would have to question myself, like, am I going to pee myself in my bed right now? Like, I can't get up.
That's the thing, is, I get body hangovers when I don't drink. I get body hangovers when because I don't drink very often, but I go to events nonstop. And if I'm, we went to an event a few weeks ago, and I decided to do all of the sports that I possibly could. They were all of the adaptive sports.
Oh, I know this one.
I did adaptive cycling, and I did fencing, and I did...
Hell yeah, you did.
All the rest. And the next morning, I woke up in so much pain.
Agony, like, one might say.
One might say.
One could call it.
Agony. I was in so much pain. It was horrid. I spent the whole day in bed and on the couch. I could barely make it to the couch, to the bathroom. We live in a one-bedroom apartment, mind you. Like, everything is pretty close together. Like, it's not like a far walk to get to anything. But I could barely make it to those things because I was in so much pain. That's when I get body hangovers, is when I overdo it with my body. So I'm sure you were also overdoing it because you were like, guess what? I can't feel anything.
Oh, and I'm a dancer. Girl, don't give me...
Same.
So I would be a dancer. I'd maybe run off from my people, maybe a couple times, maybe more than a couple. And I like to be... I'm not an active person. I don't feel like I want to do sports a bunch, but like, girl, I like to move. I like to dance. I like to go around. And so, it was all of those things combined. And I remember, when ever since I was young, the doctors always told me, like, well, we'll do it when you're older because you want to wait, because there was this thing about, you have to get them done again every 10 years, right? And my doctor would tell me, you want to wait as long as possible so you can get them redone again, because chances are you won't be able to get them done more than once. But he would tell me that like, if I didn't feel the pain in my butt and it wasn't impacting my quality of life, then, or like, when I can't walk, that's when you'll know. Well, girl, I'm a mover, I'm a doer. So how am I going to know where that line is with such vague terminology? Yeah. Because for me, I had the pain the whole time, now that I know. And my quality of life was impacted, because it wasn't until I spoke with this surgeon that actually did my surgery where I was like, I can't really go get groceries, and I don't like going to the mall, or like,
I can't
I don't like
get
to
out of bed most days.
Like getting out of bed's really hard, and I've considered maybe putting a walker in my room just to like get my legs started for the morning. And he's like,
get my legs started for the morning kills me.
Yeah, literally. I'm like, I have to have, like, I can do it later, but like the wake up is agony.
That's the
not to mention I have ADHD, so getting out of bed is like double whammy, the worst. It's the worst. But then I remember vividly, he looked at me, and he has this, like, I think he had like a French accent. He was kind of hard to understand sometimes because like French, and then I don't know, there was something else in there, and so he would just rattle off because he's very confident, and I'd be like, I need you. Okay, I'm not great at audio process. I need you to say that one more time slower.
Slow down.
So I need you to take a breath. And he told me once when we were speaking with him, and it was such a short visit, but he said to me, so you're 20, and I was 22 at the time. So you're 22 and you can't go out to the bar with your friends? That's not a quality of life. I said, oh, wait, what do you mean? What? And he was like, you had to leave your job? That's not quality of life. Oh.
Call me out like that then. Fine.
I said, but I mean, I was wondering that. I think I knew deep down that it wasn't, but when I spoke to other surgeons who weren't as experienced with little people, because this guy was one of the leading experts in the West Coast on joint replacements with people with dwarfism, other people would tell me information and things that they knew that applied to average height people, but not to myself. So the symptoms that they knew to point out, and the even the pain level. I mean, I would sit at an 8 or 9 on a regular basis most days, and my parents understood that. That was my standard.
Yeah.
And now I'm at like,
baseline.
I still have some arthritis in my ankles and knees, but I don't have pain in my hips. And having that gone now, I was really nervous to begin with, because I was like, I've always had this. Part of me was kind of scared of like I don't want to get my hopes up for like, am I gonna be that mobile after my surgery? Am I gonna be able to do all of these things that they say that I can? And am I actually gonna be pain free? And then, a little mental health journey, I was like, I guess, I kind of had to deal with, am I attached to the pain because of who it's made me? And do I feel like if it's gone, am I not gonna be that same person? Am I not gonna have that same grit? But I can tell you guys, not having any pain in my hips, no, it's okay. It's like, you don't need to have the pain to be, able to do things.
Which
you
sounds so silly, but like,
it's something that we like so mentally deal with, because it becomes so much of our personality is the things that we have to deal with. And when Able'd say, "Wow, you're such a trooper, you're such a tough cookie," you go, "Well, what else am I supposed to do?"
What?
But then you do kind of feel proud of yourself, right? Yeah. Like, what am? Oh, let me just, right? Like, that's the solution. I woke up today. Come on. Like, God forbid I got out of bed. But then you do, I mean, deep down, you feel proud of yourself for all the things that you've been able to do that other people don't have to struggle with. Mm-hmm. And so it was mentally a really interesting journey. And I think the biggest thing that I've noticed now is that I'm so incredibly proud of myself, but I'm much more patient with myself now. And I can listen to myself better. I still push myself to get things done, but I'm less hard on myself when I can't, because I know now really where I was, and I'm a lot more empathetic to just younger Lindsay, because she didn't realize just how much she was having to put in the effort to do regular day things. But my hip replacement, has really, truly changed my life in every sense of the word. I work a retail job now, and I can walk for like the whole shift.
Wow.
Never in my life have I ever done that, like ever.
I don't
So,
think I could do that.
and I was a little worried. I'm not gonna lie. I was a little worried,
You were
and
like,
I'm walking
"Oh."
all over that floor.
As you
But
should.
I mean, thank you. We
Get
gotta
it.
walk. But I got hiking shoes, and I'm going for like I'm practicing hiking. I can exercise now because they always told me like, oh, build muscle to help support the joints. I couldn't build the muscle because the pain was so bad. I could never get to that burning point. So I remember the first time, even in physical therapy, when I experienced true muscle burn, without the arthritic agony afterwards, I was like, so you guys aren't lying about this? This actually isn't like
This isn't a myth.
horrible. And then truth be told, I was in the physical therapy office, and there was this one girl who, she was just really upset about the muscle burn. She was like, it hurts. It really hurts. And I heard her talking about her pain, and I was like,
All right, girl.
I'm not trying to like oppression Olympics, I'm not trying to sit here and compare, but I'm not going to lie, what you're saying right now, I
You're
don't think
fine.
you know what pain is. I think that you need to be okay with this, because this feels awesome, actually. Like, I learned that the muscle burn feels awesome when it's not followed by arthritic grinding, and it actually feels pretty good. So I go for walks now.
Which is why I think I love working out so much, because it's pain I can control.
Yeah.
It's pain that's like not unbearable.
It's not. That's the thing, is like, I would be winded from a physical therapy day, or like even a good exercise day. Like, I have kettlebells I use here at home, and I'd be winded, and I feel like jello afterwards,
take a nap.
which didn't know that jello body was an actual thing. Again, thought it was a lie. But I'll like finish up, and I'll be like, oh, I can still like go do stuff.
Yeah.
I
You
can
don't have
still
to,
like do things.
take a 4-hour nap because of that one workout session. It's crazy.
Correct. Exactly. I was like, wait, so I can work out and then I can still go out for the day and meet my friends, or go grocery shopping, or
Mind blowing.
go run errands. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. And so there's just,
second.
I was like, oh, this is new. But there were like so many, and they just keep happening, is like things that I notice in my life where I'm like, oh, I can do this. And like, other people don't have to work so hard to do this. No wonder they didn't understand when I was telling them that I couldn't do these things, but they would see me walking, so they would assume that that's fine. Like, it was very interesting. But I like to go on walks now, and the hip replacement has truly changed my life. And I do think, oh, and also another thing that they told me, like I said, they told me that I could only get them done once, because I have to get them redone every 10 years. Yeah, that's for average height people, because we're literally half the size and half the weight. So the weight impact on a joint replacement.
Twice as much.
And no, they last more than 10 years. Mine are going to last me 50 years, according to my surgeon.
Whoa!
Because think about the gravity. If the gravity impact on the floor, right?
Yeah.
For average height people, they're even at their like least active, the gravity impact is going to be harder, even if they're being active or not, right? Than it would be for us. So my surgeon, who's an expert, he's done like many little people, like a lot of them, and he actually connected me to a past patient of his, who could kind of give me a kind of just guide me through her experience, which was so helpful. She was wonderful. Yeah, they keep telling us stuff about average height people doing this and not little people. Like,
Well,
I can't tell you how much of the information was average height based and not little people based, because we have a different experience.
Yeah. I have been going through that for the last few years with specifically I've known, and I could do a whole other episode about this too, but I've known that I forever, when I was really little, I knew that I wanted to be a mom when I grew up. And so, like, obviously adoption's an option, and Kaz is adopted, and so adoption's really close to his heart. And there are issues with adoption,
Yeah.
morally. But I asked when I was really young, I was like, so is pregnancy an option for me? And they didn't really have an answer.
Nope.
They were kind of like, well, it could be, but maybe not, but also maybe, but probably not. I was like, what? So I've had
They don't have
doctors-
information.
No, they have
don't
no
know.
idea because there's not enough research done about people of our stature. And like, I know that there are little people out there that have carried their babies to term. That's great. But my anatomy is so interesting, so unique. My type of dwarfism is so rare that they don't know.
Yeah.
Am I willing to take that gamble? I don't know. So, it's just a really interesting thing of doctors not knowing. And I think that's, my mom tells me all the time, it's called practicing medicine for a reason. Because truthfully, it's practicing. I know.
Wait a minute.
I know.
Can you tell your mom I'm just gonna like
Steal that?
maybe take that one with me?
Well,
Is
I
that
took
okay?
Denise, so you can have that one.
Okay, trade.
It's like a trade.
Yay.
Yeah, it's a trade system.
Pleasure doing business with you, ma'am.
So yeah, she says that it's called practicing medicine for a reason.
Yeah.
A lot of these people aren't experts. A lot of them are. And, I've been lucky to have some of those people on my team, but my ortho surgeon's not going to know if getting pregnant's an option for me. Like, that's just not in his wheelhouse. It's not his fault. He's also a man. Number one.
Get him out of here.
Get him outta here.
Different
Not
doctor.
in this
I'd like to
conversation.
change. I'd like a new one. Thank
Next.
you.
Love him, but he's, that's not his specialty.
Bless his heart.
And truthfully. And so, it's just interesting because you get all of these mixed answers. I've been told that, oh, well, with your endometriosis, we're not really sure. With your stature, we're not really sure. With the placement of your ribs and how close they are to your hips, we don't really know, like, if it, what about the fact that your baby might have your syndrome, like there's a 50-50 chance, like that's really high, and all of the above. And so there's a bunch of mixed reviews, and the answer is people don't know. People don't know because there's not enough research. Hello. Monty just jumped up on the back of the chair.
Hi, kitty cat.
He just ate, and so he's
and he's eating.
He's eating
still.
My he's trying to eat my YouTube plaque in the back. Anyway,
You didn't earn that, Monty.
he didn't. Yeah, so it's really interesting the fact that, like, doctors, the people we're supposed to trust with our healthcare and our lives,
They don't know.
They don't know, especially when it
And
comes
I
to
can
people with
understand
dwarfism.
that a bit.
Truthfully,
Like,
yeah.
it's like in their defense, there are less of us to learn about. That being said, I wish that there were more studies that weren't practiced by Nazis to go off of the information on. But, guess we can't pick and choose.
That was also like 100 years ago, so outdated.
Okay, I'm not gonna get mad right now. I'm not gonna get mad. But yeah, and that I actually, the whole pregnancy thing, that resonates with me because I actually don't want kids, but largely because I respect how much time and energy that takes. My dad was adopted, and I know, obviously, adoption's very big in the little people community because of the dangers and the risks it takes with carrying. Side note, sick of telling people that I don't want kids and them going, how old are you? Yeah, you'll change your mind. Actually, it's actually, do you know how much radiation has happened to my uterus?
That's the other
Do you
thing.
want me to give birth to a baby with like 6 like different, skin grafts needing, like, listen, they're going to come out like the fish in the oil spills.
Not the fish.
The dogs by Chernobyl, like, not well. They're going to come out like really not well. Like not viable, like not happy, I'm like, this in what, and honestly, do you know how much my body's been through Why
Yeah.
would I put for me, I don't want to put myself through that because I'm like, I'm good. I'm tired. I'm tapped out.
I'm done.
And also you can't pick who you have. And I have a lot of respect for that. And I have a lot of respect for parents. You cannot pick who you give birth to. And sometimes you might want to smack your kid in the face. And you can't do that. And I can't trust that I wouldn't want to do that. So again,
Fair.
but no. And
Fair.
that, I just had this conversation this weekend, on a trip that I was on. And this lady was really what's the word? Adamant that like, well, you don't know. But when people say they want kids, they don't argue the same way.
Nope.
No one ever argues the same way. And I gave pretty good reason about my health issues, but
But
people
the
got
fact
their
that
own
I've been through
opinions.
more surgeries than most people, they still don't care.
Then like 80% of the world probably. I
Anyone?
don't know what the metrics are, but I feel it. I feel it's 80% at the very least.
Intuitively,
like-
I'm getting 80%.
Combined even.
True.
But yeah, it's really interesting that how much we have to discover about ourselves. Actually, Chapin, I know I've mentioned them a couple times, but they have been posting online that they've really shared a lot about their transition process. And because we have the same type of dwarfism, they've talked a lot about how I think it's the T shots that they've been doing has helped with their joints because there's some kind of connection, and I'm not really understanding. So I recommend y'all check it out. Something to do with T and cartilage. And because our type of dwarfism is a cartilage deficiency, they've been noticing like a major difference. And I'm like, no, why are we not doctors? Hello,
Hello.
wake up, knocking on the door. Can we do something? Can we talk about this?
Some kind of studies, like something, because that's
Literally
so
anything,
interesting.
right?
I'm a one-woman show. That means that I write all of these scripts, film all of these videos all by myself. But I also have a team of amazing editors. And as you can imagine, it costs some money to be a 23-year-old entrepreneur. So that's why I started a Ko-Fi. And so many of you were asking how you can support me being able to do what I love and make videos for all of you. That's why I started a Ko-Fi. If you head on over to my Ko-Fi and drop a donation, you automatically become a representation booster. And I shout out one representation booster in my weekly YouTube video. So head on over to my Ko-Fi, drop a donation, and who knows, maybe next week I'll shout you out. Back to the video. So let's talk about what you brought up earlier with you realizing that there was a difference when you were in your chair and how you were treated.
Yeah. One of my favorite examples of that is, I had used a wheelchair here and there, a manual one, by myself before. And I remember actually the first time I went to England for a student exchange program in high school, we were at the Harry Potter Studios. Don't cancel me. I didn't book the trip. We're at the Harry Potter Studios, and we're looking at the wand section. We're in the gift shop, and some little French kid comes up to me, and why does he just grab me by the shoulders and just boop, move, and then goes and grabs the wand. Oh, you could say excuse me even. Pardon, like you have the word. I know you do. I just about whipped around and started yelling at that kid, but he walked away too quick. You know what? And this is why I say I would want to smack kids sometimes because what are you talking about? That you're just gonna. And he was grown. It wasn't like a child. Okay, this is a grown he's like probably 14 or 15.
Old enough.
To know
better.
But you don't need to be putting your hands on my shoulders and shifting me to and I'll shift my elbow into your gut. Like don't.
Not even like
don't.
your handles, like your shoulders.
No, he just kind of like scooted me over. And then, the next time I went back to England, I kind of just noticed people wouldn't talk to me as much. They would kind of look over me. And I was like, okay, rude. But at the time, like when I was younger, I was a kid. And you can tell there's a big difference between how people treat a kid in a wheelchair versus an adult. But also, I get mistaken for a kid a lot.
So do I.
And so when I was like coming back through customs through Canada, I was, it's the French people. Dude, it's the French people.
It's just the French people.
Because I'm sitting in this customs line waiting to go through. Mind you, I have my big old suitcase on the back of my now electric wheelchair. And I have this like carabiner that attaches it to the back so I can kind of drag it behind me. My mom and I jerry-rigged that, like, as I was at the airport leaving for England.
Love.
Because I was traveling independently. It was just me. That's why I got the wheelchair. And I was very successful at it because I was a good traveler. But traveling with a wheelchair was very difficult. The lifts kept being down, and then nobody would help me. And I said, actually, you will be helping me. And I made them carry my wheelchair down. Because you're not going to sit there and tell me the tube lift is down and the only entrance is like 3 stops away. I'm not walking 3 tube stops. You know what I mean? Like, no. But that's not the point. The point is, I'm in Montreal Customs. And as I'm sitting there in this line, I go up to, like, the front, and I'm about to, like, give my passport to go through the customs. They check my bag, and then I can go to actual, like, immigration customs, right? And I'm, like, just trying to get into customs. And this lady she works for, I don't know what the Canadian TSA, I'm going to call it. She's, like, taking the passport. She's, letting everyone through. And, I roll up. And I'm looking at her, and she's looking at me. And then she looks up, and she just starts looking around. And
What?
looking around. And then she looks at the people behind me, and she goes, "Are you with her? Are you with her? Do you have her passport?" And I was like, I'm holding my passport, looking at you in your eyeballs. It's here. and she's like, "Do you have a passport?" "No, you do not." "Okay, that is okay." And I was like, "Hi." And she goes, "Is anyone with you?" And I was like, "I'm with me. Take my passport." Like, I got pissed really quick. So I was like, why are you doing this to me? Why are you being so rude? But then I remember, like, as I was going through, I was like, oh yeah, I'm in a wheelchair because... And, I won't lie, guys. If you're in a wheelchair, like, I need you guys to practice your big, dumb, doe eyes. Like, your big, sweet, like, oh, I'm just so scared and by myself. Because it does work. It does work. People wake up a little bit. They treat you a little bit nicer. You go, "Excuse me, can I please have some help? I just don't know where to go." Like, look like a baby deer who's in need of desperate help. Look like a baby deer. This lady, they were either really rude to me and just talking, "Are you with her? No, you're not. Are you with her?"
Your French
Don't
accent?
Be
very good.
Rude. Thank you. Thank you. I like to make fun of French people for having mean, nasty attitudes all the
Ableism.
time. They're so mean for what? They're so mean. Anyways, when one French person is nice to me, we can talk again. But
We'll have you
just
back
one.
on.
Just one. But yeah, that was a really interesting experience. And the whole trip, I remember, like, I would kind of hop in and out of it, the chair still, because I was kind of transitioning, and it was definitely an experience that taught me a lot. And I think I'm constantly learning, constantly growing, always. What's the best way to do it? But I can't lie, it was just like, it was really disorienting because I was used to being either like infantilized or treated as an adult in different ways, but to be seen as literally an object to just not even be spoken to was really irritating, and I will run my mouth. And so I did. Or when people cut me off at Disneyland, like, I need y'all to get off your phones and walk where you're going. These kids and their damn phones.
Yeah, the kids.
I'm really going to need y'all to put the phone down.
Put it down.
And the adults.
You're at Disneyland.
The adults are worse.
The adults are
the
worse.
Adults
but
are
why are kids?
so
Why are
much worse.
why do children have the phones? Walking around.
I would.
It's
And
Disneyland.
one thing about it, as a parent, I would never give my kid a phone.
Nope.
Never. I don't care how modernized we are. That child is going to live off the land. Okay. You're going to reconnect with nature you're going to stay connected with nature before you shoot your attention span point blank. Like, we're not doing that. We're not.
Agreed.
All of that's to say.
When I send
The
my
experience
kids
has
to
been
your house,
back and forth.
that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Good. You're going to have them, I'll teach them how to make some sourdough. And
Some butter.
I'll teach them how to dance. We're going to have some good dance parties, okay?
Love.
And I'll teach them how much we love movies, because that's a good place to practice your attention
true.
span. And also books. We love books. We love
do.
reading.
We love books. We love books. We love films. All of the above.
And we love to put our phone down and be in the moment. And the only digital thing that's allowed is a digital camera so you can take pictures, but not too many.
True. But we're not vlogging.
I'm like, I'm starting to feel like one of those people who's going to start being, I'm going to go live off the grid. Like, I'm going to sound insane in a couple years, guys. I'm trying not to, but the internet's starting to piss me off.
We're getting to that point with the internet right now. With our country, with the internet, with the...
I hear AI and I start going, robots don't deserve rights, and I'm sick of I'm gonna
It's true.
I'm gonna take a step back.
Hold on. Collect yourself. You got it.
Yeah,
You're good.
Yeah, I'm gonna settle. I'm good.
Okay. My very last question for you, because we could have like a 4-hour episode.
We could.
Um,
Chat, do you guys want a part 2? Let us know in the
honestly,
comments.
dude,
Chat, who wants a part
who
2?
wants part 2? Lindsay will do it too.
And I would. And me and Cass could talk. We could do part 6. Part 32. Who the
Start
F did
our
I
own-
marry?
Honestly,
We could get all the way out there.
we could. So my last question for you is: I have a younger audience, usually like 13 to 18. I see that on my analytics, but recently we've been out in public and like 7-year-olds are coming up to me and being like we had 3 isolated incidents where 3 separate 7-year-olds, and I asked their ages. All of them were 7. And they were like, "Are you a YouTuber?" I was like, yeah. I guess. And they were like, "Can we take a picture with you? We really love your content." I was like, "Okay." So, I think my audience is even younger than 13. But
Do we
it
think
says
maybe
13 to 18.
some of us are maybe putting different birthdays when we make these accounts that maybe we should be, because the internet should be extra safe and truthful?
Well, yes, and also we did that. So I can't.
I did do that. Wizards
I did
101
also
saw
do
me
that.
at 9 years old.
Wizards 101. Yeah.
Animal Jam,
3 realms.
Webkins.
So anyways, I think that my audience is actually younger than what my analytics are reporting. But I know a lot of them have disabilities, and I get comments all the time that are like, how are you disabled and how do you practice self-love? Or I'm disabled and I'm really struggling to love myself. I'm really struggling to advocate for myself. I'm really struggling to see a future for myself and see myself in the career that I want because I'm not being represented. And, all of the above. So my question is, what would you say to those kids or those younger people that might be watching or listening?
I heard something recently that was, how do you learn to trust your instinct over anxiety? And one of those voices is going to be kinder. So the world is going to be really awful. That is an inevitability. But the only thing that you have control of in this world, true control of every single time, is how you respond, right? I found a lot of relief from myself when I struggled with things related to my disability because it's part of my everyday life. So socially and, body image, we are very highly predisposed to disordered eating and body dysmorphia, and I very much struggle with that, even still today. But when you can learn to discern between true thoughts and what you think other people are thinking, because childhood is especially one of those times where anxiety is through the roof and you are so critical of yourself and you think that everybody sees what you see. One, everybody's wrapped up in their own world and they think that you see what they see about themselves. But two, as awful as the world is, you have to give people an opportunity to treat you right too, because you would want that same opportunity. There are going to be a lot of difficult things in this world, and if you can look for the positive, give grace to yourself, give grace to others, and also do not tolerate nonsense. Step away. Step away from it if you can. You are the one that you are with for your entire life. So you are better off finding a way, finding things, finding anything to learn to love about yourself. Because it's just you and you at the end of the day. And I struggled quite a bit for a long time with being alone with myself, with my opinions about myself. And everyone's going to still struggle with that. That is a part of life. But approaching other people with grace and not assuming they have the worst intentions, because it's not like you always have the worst intentions, so why would they? And taking a lot of time to really invest in the people you put around yourself, the people, the relationships that you have, don't settle. Invest in the people that you love on, because those are going to be the people that you lean on when you need support. And that is a huge, huge thing. We are a very social people, and it's not going to be easy, and you're going to hear a lot of horrible things, and the best way to get through life is to find what you love about yourself, and find people that you love, and really invest in that, because happy people don't have time for nonsense. You find that joy. You find it and you work for it, because happiness is work. It doesn't just happen. It doesn't stay. You have to keep it by investing in people, investing in your life, investing in those around you. And more than anything, learn to advocate for yourself. Learn to understand your needs. Take that time with yourself. Sit with it, as uncomfortable as it is, because the sooner you learn where your boundaries are, and the sooner you learn how to advocate for yourself, the sooner you can get your needs met, and the better you can fight for your own needs. I have experienced several times where people did not understand my needs, and they had their own ableism, they had their own perspectives, they treated me pretty poorly about it. But because I spent time learning my needs, and I knew what I needed, and I also knew that as a disabled person, this is just how I need to do things, and their lack of understanding is reflective of them, not you. If they can't understand, and they can't hear you, and they can't empathize when you say, hey, I'm in pain, or hey, I need this because I can't see, that's on them, not you. You have a right to access every part of this world. Yes, it may be different, and yes, you may have to learn to adapt to certain things. And I think that's one of my greatest strengths, and it allows me to access many places, because I will sit there and problem solve all the live long day, and I'll be open with people about it if I need to, but you have to be willing to do what you need to do for you. And if other people are not willing to, you better tell them that they're wrong, because you have to be able to stand up for you. But it helps when you have a community to help you. So stay connected to people, stay connected to your community, and foster those healthy relationships, because they will make all the hard stuff so much easier. So much easier.
Wow. That was really good advice.
Thank you. I
Look,
hope
guys,
that helps,
we can be
guys.
serious too.
You know what? I love to jump between brain rot nonsense and some really deep philosophical discussions. I actually love philosophy. So
Ripping down French people, and then
I admire the
also,
French and their revolutionary abilities, but I also God, the French.
I think that's what the title of this episode is going to be. It's going to have to be something about French people and how much you hate the
Freaking French. I can't stand the French people.
Yeah.
Hey, French people, watch out.
Watch out, Lindsay's coming.
Have some decorum, French people.
Stop being ableist, maybe.
Have some decorum. Thank you.
Yeah,
Social manners.
truthfully. Oh my God. Lindsay, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, but I don't really post there very often. Pretty much all of my socials are not Dwarf Lindsay, so you might find me in some Reddit threads here and there, mainly on Adobe, because my Adobe thing hates me, but Anyways, not Dwarf Lindsay with an AY, not an EY, because that's not how real people spell it. If you're an EY, I'm sorry, we need to go have a talk. But I haven't posted in a while, but I'm trying to come back. Maybe eventually.
She'll be here.
I'll be here. And if you're in NorCal, I don't know, if you guys need to talk to someone with dwarfism, disabilities, hit me up on Instagram. We can maybe talk about doing a little coffee chat or something.
We have the two sides of the state covered.
Exactly.
We're good.
Except not Bakersfield. Sorry, guys.
Not Bakersfield. Sorry about that. If
Doesn't
you're
exist.
Bakersfield, that sucks.
Never happened. Nope.
Not even there, actually. Bakersfield.
What is that? Bakersfield says what?
Thank you so much for being here, Lindsay. I really
Thank you,
appreciate
Cass.
you, and I always love our chats and getting to hang out. And I hope
I
to see you
do.
soon.
I love seeing you, girl. Okay, we'll stay connected. Thank you so much for having me,
Yes.
guys.
And thank you for watching and listening to this episode of The View from 4 feet and 3 inches. Please drop a like, hit that subscribe button because it really does help me out on this channel. Give me a 5-star rating depending on where you're watching or listening because that also really helps me out. Comment down below if you want Lindsay back on the show because I know I do. So,
And let us know how you guys feel about French people.
And let us know how you feel about French people. Go follow me on all my other platforms because I do post on Instagram, Facebook Reels, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts every single day. I have a YouTube vlog that comes out every Wednesday and a podcast over here on The View from 4 feet and 3 inches out everywhere you listen to podcasts every single Sunday. Thanks so much for watching and listening, and we will see you next time. Bye!